Because chat, Chelsea put out a video 2 days ago. Thank you, Gramps. HLC did indeed put out a video 2 days ago. He put one out on Friday. Of course, he put one out on Friday on my day off. So, let's jump in and finish off with Grandpa Bob and see what he has to say today.
America? Are you
Oh,
serious?
fuck.
Start out 2 videos in a
boy.
row like that. Must be on a roll.
Even though probably your impression is mediocre at best, I think I should really talk a little bit more in some of these videos, considering it's 2026 and I've already been doing a lot of work for these first couple weeks.
This ought to be great. Go ahead, UK. What do you got? You just had federal agents who were supposedly doing their job shoot and kill an innocent person in Minnesota.
We have your fingerman routinely arresting people for saying mean stuff on social media and spitting leaves out of their mouth. Okay, Billy Beans on Falafel, you literally arrest your people for wrong thing. For those of you who don't know, there was an old man. I don't know if you guys heard about this. There was an old man in the UK, was out for a walk. A gust of wind blew a leaf into his mouth. He spat out the leaf and actually received a $300 fine from the police. From like a litter control officer or something. Because a leaf got blown into his mouth by the wind and he spat it out, he literally received a 300-pound fine. I am not joking. That literally happened. They are fining you because garbage gets put into your mouth and you spit it out. They're fining people that have like plastic bags. Like, you know, some people will some people in their cars, they'll have like a plastic bag that they can throw like trash in, like a water bottle or wrappers or something like that. I'll get there. There's some people that like they'll have like a plastic bag in their car that they can use like as a makeshift trash bag, and they'll throw garbage in there. Some guy in his work van had a little bag set up like that for his trash. They literally fined him because they said that he was, I don't know if it's UK terminology. They basically made it seem like he was, because he had this bag in his car that he put trash into, they made it seem like he was just going to dump it off on the side of the road. They basically precogged this man and charged him a fine because they did a precog and said, we know that you're going to be intending to do this, even though there's no evidence to substantiate it. That is what the UK is doing right now. They said the leaf thing is spitting in public. It is a public offense. This is the fucking UK. All right? And UK wants to bitch about about ICE, basically, you know, the situation, the shooting situation in Minnesota, which by all visual accounts that I have seen thus far, still seems to substantiate that it is a good shoot, that the agent did it in self-defense. By the way, for all you dumb fucks on Twitter, they're saying that ICE agents don't have the power of arrest. Yes, they do. ICE agents fully do have the power of arrest if it's in the course of duty, if someone tries to obstruct their course of duties, if someone attacks them, if they try and basically, like, you know, in the course of arresting someone that is an illegal immigrant, or if someone tries to do something like hide an illegal immigrant. So, yes, the ICE agents do have law enforcement powers to arrest people if they try to obstruct ICE, but go fuck yourself on that one. Now, with the UK, Yes, supposedly Carl Starmer, who by the way is currently in the midst of a no confidence vote, that the parliament is probably going to be voting Carl Starmer out of office, so he's desperate to try and inflict as much fascism as possible before he gets voted out of office. Yes, he wants to try and ban X in the UK, saying that it is basically fascism. Supposedly he tried to lump in Canada and Australia, saying, oh yes, we're doing a joint venture, us, the UK, with Canada and Australia, to ban X. And he is a piece of shit, but credit where it's due. Carney came out and said, no, Canada has absolutely zero intention of banning X. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So, hate him all you want. At least on this, he actually stood up and went, go fuck yourselves. We're not teaming up with you. We have no problem with X. X is staying right where the fuck where it is. So, yeah. To basically put a cap on this entire fucking rant I'm making, go fuck yourself, Beans on Falafel. You are now little Saudi Arabia. You are a fascist country now. Every word that comes out of your party mouth is immediately discarded.
Innocent, you say? Okay, listen up here, Toast Beaner. She was blocking federal agents that were doing their duty. And this is the...
Oh, and by the way, I don't know if HLC's gonna mention this, but I saw it in the footage, in the body cam footage, just before the woman in Minnesota hit the gas, her wife, who was standing outside the car filming with her phone, her wife yelled at the driver of the vehicle, "Go, baby, go." Right? It's like a split, like a second, where as it was happening, the wife of this woman literally yelled at her, "Go, baby, go."
Thing. A couple days before this happened, I called Tampon Timmy. I thought he was Timmy the traitor. Tampon, traitor, treason, potato, tomahawk missile there, Buff. You know, say what you want about the guy, but he's got nicknames for everybody. So
True.
I called Tampon Timmy, and I said,
it should be mentioned, the Pope has called out Britain for its Orwellian turn into a near-police state.
For fuck's sake, the UAE has basically told their citizens, if you want to go study in the UK, you will get no money, you will get no monetary assistance to go study in the UK, because the UE itself has said that the UK is a hub of radical Islamic terrorism. The UAE is calling the UK a hub of Islamic extremism. Think about that. Okay? The Muslim country of the United Arab Emirates thinks the UK is too extreme. Okay? We are living in the fucking upside down, people. We are absolutely living in the fucking upside down.
Names for everybody. So I called Tampon Timmy, and I said, hey, Timmy? And he goes, yes, Mr. President. It's crazy. He called me president even before I was president. Probably because he's stupid.
Funny.
But anyways, I called him and I said, hey, Tampon Timmy, can you do me a favor and get the people of Minnesota to stop being a bunch of gay retards?
It's important to note that this is satire.
That's what you're saying, not me. And I said, hey, Tampon Timmy, if they're done being gay retards,
God.
can you get a hold of this whole fraud thing? And next thing I know, boom, lady's dead.
On that note, this is a...
Okay, interesting. I'm not quite sure, like, obviously, yeah, it's satire. Like, obviously, agency is being satirical about this. I'm trying to put the timeline together here. Because did Trump actually contact Tim Walz and talk about the fraud thing? I don't even remember hearing about him making a phone call about that. Like, the only thing I know, did he? Okay, I hadn't even heard about that. So I don't know. It's just like the only timeline of events I know about is when Nick Shirley put out his video And then shortly thereafter, you had a couple thousand federal agents descend upon the state along with ICE. Like, I'm talking about investigative federal agents, like the FBI and I think DHS also came down. And then ICE started ramping up operations in Minnesota, but those were like two separate events. That's all I heard about. Really, I haven't heard anything about any phone calls made between Minnesota and Washington. So,
And next thing I know, boom, lady's dead.
On that note, this is a very spicy topic right now, and I heavily considered not covering it at all because I don't know what the right answer looks like. I've seen the video from every possible angle.
Yep.
And it does appear that the woman did strike an ICE officer barely with the front left side of her car.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of other things that play into that. Was it a felony stop? Was the officer in fear of his life? I mean, realistically.
Okay, I can answer that first part. It was not a felony stop. That part I can answer definitively. That was not a felony stop. That was basically the woman was obstructing the roadway to try and prevent ICE from performing their duties. And so they were going to, they wanted to remove her from the car, possibly to investigate, possibly to arrest for obstruction of the federal officer. So in that respect, the stop itself, because there was no actual stop, but the detainment was not for. I can be reasonably confident that the detainment was not for a felony reason. It was not. Yeah, chances are they probably would have pulled her out of the car. They would have, they would have talked to her. They might have actually moved her car to get out of the road and said, "Listen, quit fucking around," and let her go. But then she, along with her wife, encouraging her to hit the gas, did hit the gas, hit the car, or hit the agent, and the shooting took place. And do I want to get into this? Do I want to get into the specifics of this? Fuck it, we both. All right. When it comes to something like this, the intention of the driver is only partially a factor here. Because did the driver intend to hit the agent? I cannot say. I am not going to make a judgment based on the video evidence that the driver intended to hit the agent. I will not say that because I don't know. And in fact, a lot of the argument says, oh, she was trying to drive away. She didn't intend to hit the ICE agent. Here's the problem with the logic of all the people saying, well, she was just trying to get away. She did not intend to hit the agent. Here's the problem with that logic. It doesn't matter. In this instance, with the circumstances at question, her intent to just drive away doesn't matter. Why? Because when she drove the vehicle forward, there was an ICE agent directly in her path, and be it lightly or firmly or dangerously, she struck the ICE agent. She actually struck the ICE agent. Now, my guess is, and again, this is guesswork, my guess is the only reason why the ICE agent did not suffer significant injury is because he was quick enough. His reaction was fast enough that he was able to move out of the way just enough so he caught a bump versus a full-on force strike of the vehicle because his reflexes were good enough. However, problem with this, what if his reflexes were not good enough? What if he slipped what if he slipped? It's fucking cold. There was snow on the ground. The roadway could have been icy. What if he slipped and fell and fell? There's no way that she would have been able to stop the car fast enough before it actually ran over him. And that is why there's the criminal offense of if God forbid she had actually won over that agent because he had slipped or wasn't fast enough and caused significant injury or death to that agent. That is why there is the criminal charge of manslaughter, which is, colloquially speaking, it is reckless homicide, right? I'm not sure if Minnesota actually has reckless homicide as a crime on the books, but there is manslaughter, which is basically causing the death of another individual through reckless actions, reckless and endangering actions. That is why those exist. So her intent of whether or not she was going to, whether or not she planned to strike the agent or not, is immaterial. She operated her vehicle in a way that was dangerous and reckless, and the ICE agent responded. The ICE agent responded by seeing a threat coming at him, regardless of her intentions, because he can't possibly know what her intentions are. She's already been obstructing the agents, so she has no idea if, like, granted, bear in mind, we've already had incidents of protesters literally ramming ICE vehicles. We've already seen instances prior of these protesters literally ramming ICE vehicles to try and stop them from doing their jobs. He had no idea if she was one of these individuals that was going to try and ram him in an effort to quote-unquote stop him. He didn't know. All he knew is there was a 3,000-pound vehicle coming right at him. And he reacted as he was trained. When a deadly weapon, which the car was a deadly weapon, is coming at you, you react with equal lethal force. That's what it boils down. That's what it boils down to. Now, is there going to be more evidence that comes to light as the investigation continues? Certainly. Certainly possible. But from everything that we've seen thus far, from all of the video evidence, including the officer's body camera or including the agent's body camera, this looks like a good shoot. This absolutely looks like a good shoot. Regardless of what her intention was, this looks like a good shoot by the agent because she actually did strike him, and the minor strike is probably only likely because the agent was quick on his feet. So I'm gonna say that at this point it looks like a good shoot. It looks like a justified shoot. And all of the defenses being made, like somebody was saying, like, oh, that she was shot through the side window. It's like, no, there's a bullet hole in the front windshield. Yeah, maybe. The first round went through the front windshield, and then the second or third, because the vehicle was in motion, as was the agent, went through the side window. But still, regardless, this looked like a good shoot. Will more evidence come to light that could possibly change things? Certainly. But what we've got right now that has been disclosed to the public, the officer is looking to be justified in a shooting. From everything that has been publicly disclosed, the officer looks like he was justified in a shooting. That's what it boils down to. It's immaterial of her intent, immaterial of her wanting to stop ICE from doing their jobs, at being a protester, immaterial of all that. The actions that took place in that incident looks like a good shoot. That's it.
I mean, realistically, someone hits you with a car, yeah, that would be considered inferior life. But I will never, under any circumstances, cheer for the death of an American.
So
and that's the crux of it. Is no sane person is cheering for the loss of human life. There are plenty of people on, God help me, on social media like Twitter that are cheering for the death of this woman. There are people that are doing the, fuck around and find out meme thing for this woman. I am not cheering for her loss of life. I'm not. I'm saying that it looks like it's a good shoot. That it looks like the officer had in accordance with use of force that is universal across pretty much all law enforcement agencies across the country. It looked like it was a good shoot, that he was justified in the shooting given the circumstances that occurred. It doesn't mean that I like it. It does not mean that I like the fact that this happened. Looking at it as, okay, looking at the circumstances of what happened, looking at the evidence that we have been presented with so far, I can say, yeah, it was a good shoot. He is justified in the shoot. He was justified in his actions, given what happened with this woman and her car, how she was getting encouraged by her wife. It doesn't mean I like it. I'm not cheering it. I'm not celebrating it. I'm not laughing about it. But it is justified. The loss of human life is tragic. And I keep going over in my head, like when the one agent comes over and says, come on, get out of the car, And and like probably just to talk to her and maybe bitch at her and tell her, listen, you need to knock it the hell off. What you're doing is a crime. And she took that and escalated it to stomping on the gas. This is not something to be celebrated or laughed at or anything like that. But facts don't give a fuck about intentions. Facts don't give a fuck about the feelings. You can feel bad for this woman, and I do. I feel bad for the woman. I feel bad for her wife. I feel bad for her family. I do. But it's not changing that her actions at this point look like her actions directly resulted in, her actions resulted in the cost of her life. And that is tragic. It is. Anybody that says otherwise is like just glorifying it, they're shouting into their own individual little zeitgeist and echo chambers, and they don't understand the humanity of the situation because they're looking at it through the lens of social media. And to those people, I say, go touch some fucking grass and actually talk to people and stop living your entire lives through social media. This is tragic. It is the loss of a human life. And it is not something that should ever be, it shouldn't be celebrated. It shouldn't be cheered. It shouldn't be laughed about. It is horrible. Because now you have God knows how many people with her family that have lost a daughter, lost a wife, lost a mother. And just like with what happened with the other, with the shootings that we've seen. Like, God help us with all the fucking shootings we've seen. Just like with them. I mourn because because you had people that in those situations, they were mentally unwell. And the result is a loss of someone in a family. The same fucking thing happened here. This is a loss of a human life. And it is a family that is forever lost one of their own. And this woman is not crazy. She didn't I'm willing to think that she did not have an intention to harm that agent. I am fully willing to give her the benefit of the doubt that she didn't want to harm that agent. But her incredibly reckless actions. Okay, Eminency, I'm not prepared to say that. No, I'm still not prepared to say it. Were her actions reckless? Absolutely. Her actions were reckless, and that is why crimes of reckless homicide or manslaughter are on the books, because you don't have to be crazy to drive recklessly. Okay, that's what I've been hearing. I'm focusing on what I know. And it's still a loss of a life. It is still... Okay, and you know what? Okay, Eminency, I'm still sad about it. Because I was still sad about the one person that shot up the church. That I cried my eyes out for the loss of life there, but I also cried for the loss of life of the person who was also crazy, who did the shooting, because they slipped through the cracks and they didn't get the help that they needed. I'm still gonna cry for for the loss of their life. I don't fucking care if she was acting crazy. It means that she also slipped through the cracks and didn't get the help that she needed. And it resulted in the loss of a human life, her life. I'm still gonna feel sad for that, and I'm still gonna cry about it. Because it's still a tragedy. And yes, I'm probably gonna get shit on in the YouTube comments because of this. I don't fucking care. You cannot lose your humanity where you're just like, fuck it, she was a crazy person. She tried to hit she hit the agent. Fuck it, she deserved to die. I'm not gonna allow the loss of my humanity from that. I'm not gonna do it. Okay? Because when you lose your humanity and you fucking celebrate that someone loses their life like that, no. I won't allow that to happen. I won't allow myself or any of you to lose your humanity, to go, well, she was just a crazy bitch. She was stalking ICE. You should see the social media posts. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. She was a human being. Okay? She was a fucking human being. And yes, I'm not excusing her actions that resulted in her death. I'm not excusing them, but I'm still gonna warn her. I'm still gonna mourn the loss of her life because from everything that you were saying, MNC, she needed help. Okay, she was that fucking crazy. She needed help. She needed professional help to basically get her to just stop. The minute we lose our humanity to just be able to mourn someone who died, even if that death is quote unquote justifiable, even if it's that, it's still the loss of a human life. And honestly, I don't disagree that small crimes need to be punished. And when you don't punish small crimes, it encourages escalation. I do not disagree with you on that. I don't. But it's still a person whose life was taken and will never come back, and is a family who has lost someone forever. It's still going in circles. Going in circles again. Again, I'm not going to excuse her behavior. I will not excuse her behavior. I will not excuse the fact that her actions directly resulted in her death. But I will also mourn the loss of her life. And yeah, that's it. That's what I will say about it, and going to move on.
So when I called, Tampon Timmy, and I told him that, he just basically said, hey, I heard that you had the best MRI that the doctors had ever seen. Probably the best. And I said, thank you. Thank you so much, Tampon Timmy. I feel bad that people are calling you what you actually are, which is a retard. And then I reminded him that I won all the swing states.
Reminder again, I am the air defense and missile guy. I don't fully understand law enforcement, so you should probably take advice from actual legal professionals and law enforcement professionals. And I'm sure that whatever goes down will be investigated, and that individual will be judged by a jury of their peers. So, on a positive note that seemed to be overshadowed by all the bad news, hey, America, I'm glad we're back on talking terms. You boosted up my economy a little bit there with that investment, and I appreciate it there. What? Basically, what I'm talking about there is we boosted up Canada's Missile Defense Agency because we invested in the, it's called, I got to read the acronym because I've never heard of it before, Scalable Homeland Innovative Enterprise Layered Defense, also known as SHIELD.
Wait, is that Canada's word for it? Hold up.
The talking about there is we boosted up Canada's Missile Defense Agency.
Canada got sealed for the U.S. did. Canada got shield before the United States. Avengers?
The acronym because I've never heard of it before. Scalable Homeland Innovative Enterprise Layered Defense, also known as SHIELD.
We have a fucking SHIELD program? Holy shit.
No, Buff. You don't. We do. We're just allowing you to take part in it. Or we invited you to join in on it. Yes, Shadows, I know the U.S. has Star Wars, but okay, let's be real. What gets you more pumped? Star Wars or S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Do I get to wear an eye patch and call everybody motherfucker, or are you going to get someone else to play Samuel L. Jackson?
I don't know. Nor do I know if this is any part of the Golden Dome system.
Oh, God, tell me there's a council, just so I can say, oh, I've heard the council's decision, and given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it. Oh, God, I can't wait. Oh, you know what? Everyone's a motherfucker today.
Oh, God, what?
I forgot, just so everyone's aware, Ray, also known as Raytheon, and some people call it RTX because, I don't know, it's just a weird fucking name. It's like the name for Ghost Eye of that radar. That's a stupid name.
Wow. Actually, we agree on something. That is a stupid-ass name for a radar. Whoever at Raytheon came up with that, and I will die on this hill. You need to be fired, rehired, and once you get settled back in, fired again. But anyways, what's happening with Ray?
Raytheon has been a contractor for the United States government for a long, long time. And it's a very good contractor, probably the best. But I told them if they don't invest in American production, I'm going to cut all their defense contracts.
You're going to do what?
He either said cut all his defense contracts or fart on a baseball bat. I don't know, Franklin was talking.
Kid, he said cut the defense contracts. I heard what he said, but it just... Okay, I want to put this in perspective for everyone. This is circumstantially a nuclear option, all right?
Okay.
Raytheon is known to make some of actually the best sensors and C2 systems, C2 meaning command and control, in the world. They're incredibly good at it. The Spy 1 and Spy 6 radar on board the Aegis combat system, well, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, is Raytheon. The Patriot sensor, Raytheon. Tons of our missiles, Raytheon. The reason why this is a nuclear option is because if we cut off Raytheon, we have a lot of empty space that's going to have to be filled by other defense contractors. But on the flip side of the coin, Raytheon's stock is going to plummet. They don't have the out-of-country production to make up for the loss in revenue they'll get from losing all these defense contractors. Overnight, Raytheon is going to half its net worth and probably lay off thousands, if not tens of thousands of employees.
God damn.
This is defense contractor Mexican standoff. That's what this is.
I feel like, Mexican standoff is kind of outdated. Can we call it a beaner battle?
Franklin says soggy sock standoff because the Rio's low this time of year.
Both of you not only know, but fuck no. Jesus, the world, man.
We have tested out our new
Hypersonic
missile, America.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. So the main difference, and I've said this a couple of times, but it's been a while, so I'm going to reiterate. The main difference between America and most of the Western world's definition of hypersonic and aggressor nations and their term of hypersonic is for aggressor nations like North Korea, if it goes over Mach 5 throughout any of its flight path, then it is considered hypersonic. By that definition, the United States has had hypersonic missiles since the 1970s. The United States, however, only counts it if it's an endo-atmospheric hypersonic, meaning it's moving at greater than Mach 5 speeds inside the atmosphere in its terminal phase. Reminder, the phases of flight of a ballistic missile are launch boost, apogee, separation, and terminal. That means right before impact, it has to be doing greater than Mach 5. And the physics associated with that are fucking painful.
And the Great China is doing a mission around our soon-to-be rejoined nation of Taiwan. Oh, is that so?
Oh, what? No, this is not going to go well for West Taiwan. Oh, Darren, like HLC used to be a missile operator, so basically he is the missiletism kind of guy. You mentioned missiles and buckle the fuck up.
Oh, I'd love to have a long conversation about that with you. Uncle Sam, I want to bring up something. Just America's better at everything than everybody else.
I agree, but I also feel like you're leading up to something, possibly a very inappropriate joke.
No. It's just kind of a statement of fact. So, like when Mustache Man was in charge over in Germany, how they were like gassing people and then putting them in ovens?
Buff, no Holocaust jokes.
No. I would never do anything like that.
Oh, yes, you would. Yes, you have. Moving on. Dear God, help us with the punchline on this.
I just want to remind everyone that the U.S. somewhat refined the idea when we torched 2 entire cities in 1945 in Japan. Kind of in a matter of seconds.
To be fair, it was my industrial revolution. And no one had taught me not to touch the fucking boats.
Oh, speaking of boats... Russia got 2 of your shadow fleet.
Oh,
yes,
God.
we're off to an interesting start in 2026, trying to start World War III everywhere you go. You stole the president, and now you steal my ships.
Ah, the yoinkening. Kind of sad I wasn't a part of it, but God, it went well.
That is going to live for so many fucking years. Like, flat out, for so many years, we are going to have references to the yoinkening. I kind of love that. Now, from now for God knows how long, whenever a non-American president starts getting, shall we say, uppity, there is going to be mention of, well, we did have the yoinkening. I wonder if it's going to make history books. I would fucking die if there is like a little one line in the history books that says in social media this was colloquially referred to as the yoinkening. I would laugh my ass off if that ever happened.
The liberals in the United States kept saying, I'm not their president. So I brought him another one and said, is this your president? And now everybody's mad at me. Fucking woke.
God.
I still have my problems with what you've done in Venezuela.
Yeah, well, you beans on falafel, I got problems with what you're doing to your own fucking people. So everybody's got problems and you got a fuckload more than we do.
But the United Kingdom stands in solidarity with the threat that is Russia. So we helped you take those vessels.
Wait. The threat that is Russia. Motherfucker, you become worse than Russia. Seriously, the UK has become worse than Russia. You are going to be the next one that gets the crosshairs set on you. Because you've actually become worse than Russia. Worse than, like, I almost want to say that you are pretty fucking close to becoming worse than Iran. And they're in a state of civil upheaval right now. Like, seriously, you have literally taken every bad part of every communist nation and every dictatorship nation and said, why don't we smush this all together and put it in a blender? And boom, you have the party. Like, I think the only dictatorship country right now, like, granted, they're not actually killing their own people for thought crimes yet. But there are, like, very few dictatorship countries right now that the UK can actually say we're better than them. And that number is starting to fucking shrink. If that says anything.
I know, I was actually kind of surprised by that. Like, usually you guys are adamantly against anything that I do in this world, but dealing with Russian aggression and trying to bankrupt them so that they learn to negotiate with people is solid move, UK.
Yeah, the only downside is we had to delay the operation. Had to take place between their call to prayer times.
We are not a Muslim nation.
Well, you're not really a Christian one anymore either.
You know, America, there are those out there in my nation who are calling for us to torpedo some of your Coast Guard cutters that were out there taking my ships.
Gotta be done.
Shut up, Slavic Special Ed. What have you got? The Mark I torpedoes that work maybe about a quarter of the time? You couldn't take out you couldn't take out your daughter on a date. Meantime, I'm going to be taking your mom out on a date and having some fun with her later tonight. Don't wait up. I got a sock on the door.
Had to be done. Had to be done. It's in the bylaws.
You might want to be careful on the water.
I need something overtly American to say in response to that. Florida.
Well, hold up. Overtly American. Fucking Slavic Special Ed just threatened to touch the boats. All you need to do is just look at Japan and go, hey, why don't you tell Russia just how well that worked out for you? Seriously. Russia's threatening to touch the boats. What more need be said? You know, other than the fact that, you know, we've got a couple of portable suns that are really starting to look a little shiny right now.
I need something overtly American to say in response to that. Florida. Well, tuck my nuts and call me Susan. Russia, you shouldn't have it. Ain't even our fucking birthday. But I tell you right now, son, you better off shitting in your mama's best skillet than you are coming at ours. In our boats, god damn it. No, shit, I'm gonna leave that typo in. Y'all love it.
I don't know why you talk a big game, America. When it comes to your boats, do you not remember the USS Liberty? Oh, I forgot. Your lapdog, the Jews, they're allowed to do that as much as they want.
Statistically speaking, when people touch my boats, there's a more likely chance that I lose my cool. But since I know somebody in the comments is going to bring up the USS Liberty, the exception is not the fucking rule.
Wait, wasn't the USS Liberty not a direct aggressive attack, but an accident? Wait, a genuine question. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I thought there was something about the USS Liberty was not attacked intentionally by Israel, but it didn't get properly identified until the attack happened. Like, yes, they did a deliberate attack, but when they made the attack, they didn't realize it was a U.S. boat. They thought it was, I don't know, they thought it was like an Iranian boat, or they thought it was an enemy boat. They did not realize it was an allied boat. That was my understanding of it. Israel Radio Comm said that they knew it was American Navy. Okay. Or, yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying. Like some people are saying, oh, they knew. Some people are saying, no, it was mistaken for an Egyptian ship. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Okay, I have not looked into it. It was alleged unintentional, but there's strong evidence that it wasn't an accident. Okay, it's like, this is information I don't have. This is just, I know that supposedly it was considered an accidental. It was not, supposedly, it was not considered intentional. I don't know. I have no answer, so I'm not going to say one way or the other because I only know things that I've heard and no evidence to support any of it, so I cannot say one way or the other.
And I always de-escalate before I escalate. Before Operation Praying Mantis, I told Iran, you need to chill the fuck out, and then all of a sudden, boom, sea mine. Then they lost half their navy in an afternoon.
It has been 80 years since somebody has learned this lesson. I'm not warning anyone anymore. If you need me, I will be in bunker watching the anime.
Russia, I don't know why you're so fucking hard-headed. Like, just negotiate. Just talk with people. I mean, obviously you're in pain. Your state-owned railway transit system, yeah, that's part of the reason why I call Russia, well, one of the many reasons I call Russia diet communism. They have a monopoly. The state owns all rail transportation. Yeah, anyways, and they're about to file bankruptcy. So what?
Wait, so's China. Wait. Russia's not alone on this. Isn't, like, the Chinese high-speed rail system that they're oh so fucking proud of, like, operating at a massive fucking loss also? And China is a communist country, so... Russia's not the only one that they can't sustain their own railway systems.
Then we will use the roads.
And fuel your military with what? Hopes and fucking dreams?
Uncle Sam, I'm not telling you what you should do, but like, can we give them one of their oil tankers back just so they have enough fuel for their Su-57s? Because come on, I just really want to go toe-to-toe with them.
There's something wrong with that one.
No.
Oh no, something's so
He's
right.
just built different.
Yup.
Freakishly different.
All I'm saying is the kid was built back before Jack 3D changed their fucking recipe, and I think there's a correlation there.
Russia, can't you see that you're on the edge of an economic collapse? Like, come on, man, just negotiate at the table. I'll get Ukraine to fucking make some concessions. You gotta make some concessions. Just stop the fucking killing, bro. It's been 4 years.
No.
Wow, first collapse in 1991, second one might be 2025. I bet we can get the hat trick by 2100. Time to pull out the big guns, Russia! If you collapse instead of negotiate, we're renaming Moscow New Minneapolis.
For God's sake! Oh my God. Well, we knew Wolf was gonna say something.